Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Ride Anna and me. Oh, freedom! Oh, freedom! Oh, freedom over me! And before I'd be a slave, I'd be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun until the day is done. Let us march on till victory is won.
Let us take a moment to look around us and see the beauty that surrounds us. Mayor Bowser and Congresswoman Norton, Congressman Hoyer, members of the council, elected officials, citizens of the District of Columbia, together we come to bless the Frederick Douglass Memorial Bridge. I believe that Zora Neale Hurston's words are an appropriate description of Mr. Douglass. He was a whirlwind among breezes. He broke the shackles of his bondage by the might of his own hands. He rose to prominence with the undying loyalty and help of his wife and partner, Anna Douglass. He mastered the English language and used the written and the spoken word to shine a light on American brutality and on American possibility. His life and the lives of the many enslaved remind us of the murderous reality of our past. His life and the lives of the many enslaved remind us of the marvelous possibilities of human community when unencumbered by oppression, exploitation, and greed. The glistening glory of this wonder of architecture and engineering will escort our citizens to work and to play. This bridge will serve the same function as the man born Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey. It will take us from where we are to where we desire to be. Long live our ancestor, Mr. Douglass, and may this bridge, fittingly named after him in this city he loved, one day soar above the soil of the 51st state in the Union, the state of Douglass Commonwealth. May this bridge and all who travel upon it be blessed.
Good morning. My name is Ken Morris, and I am the great-great-great-grandson of Frederick Douglass. And I'm also the great-great-grandson of Booker T. Washington and president of the Frederick Douglass Family Initiatives. We're an abolitionist and anti-racist organization with a mission to build strong children, and to end systems of exploitation and oppression. And I'm honored to be here today representing the family of Frederick and Anna Murray Douglas. I want to start by recognizing my mother, Nettie Washington Douglas, who was the person who united the bloodlines of the Douglas and Washington families through the union of her parents, Nettie Hancock Washington and Frederick Douglass III. My mom was the guest of honor when the original South Capitol Street Bridge that you see over here was named for Frederick Douglass in 1965. So as this is becoming a family tradition, I want to thank you for inviting me to speak at the dedication of this incredible marvel of modern engineering and this tribute to our great ancestor. I'm honored that my mother is here today to take part in this ceremony. And Mom, will you please stand and be recognized? It's been quite a commemorative weekend for the legacy of Frederick Douglass in our family. This past Friday, September 3rd, marked the 183rd anniversary of our ancestors' self-emancipation from slavery just north of here in Baltimore at the age of 20 with the assistance of my great-great-great-grandmother, Anna Murray Douglas. I was honored to do a press conference on September 3rd with Representatives Chris Smith and Karen Bass to announce the Frederick Douglass Trafficking Victims Prevention and Protection Reauthorization Act of 2021. And over the weekend, thanks to the work of my cousin Terrence Bailey, who is here today, we unveiled a beautiful mural of Frederick and Anna in the Hill community in Easton, Maryland, one of the oldest free African-American neighborhoods in the United States. And yesterday, we had an incredible 5K run and an inspiring community celebration of this bridge as a prelude to today. I want to thank everyone who worked so hard to make yesterday such a success and so much fun. And I have a few other thank yous. This bridge and celebration could not have happened without the incredible efforts of many dedicated and passionate people. I want to thank Mayor Muriel Bowser and her team, especially Deputy Mayor John Falchicchio and staff, Acting DDOT Director Everett Lott. It was great to see your son yesterday and have him lead the stretching exercises. Councilmember Trayon White, and all of the men and women across D.C. government who worked tirelessly to put these events together. And particularly on the day after Labor Day, I also want to thank those workers, iron workers and steel workers, laborers, engineers, operators, and others who built this bridge. I hope you take deserved, yes. I hope you take deserved pride in this incredible structure you created and built. Mayor Bowser, thank you for your leadership in not only persevering to complete the bridge project, but in also carrying on what Frederick Douglass stood for by fighting for the same rights for Washingtonians as every American living in every other state has, full representation. I also want to recognize the mayor's partners in the federal government. First, Majority Leader Congressman Steny Hoyer, whose energy and enthusiasm for uplifting the legacy of Frederick Douglass goes beyond this bridge. And of course, Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton. You have been an incredible ally over many years in supporting the Douglass legacy and one of the staunchest allies to the people of Washington, D.C. and Congress. Thank you for your tireless advocacy and relentless pursuit of freedom and justice for all Washingtonians. For as Frederick Douglass said, power concedes nothing without a demand. We're grateful that you have spent a lifetime demanding justice and representation. I also want to thank Ireland's ambassador to the United States, Dan Mulhall, for being here today. Like Frederick Douglass, my mother and I have been welcomed in Ireland, including when we both traveled to the Emerald Isle just a few weeks ago with the CIEE Frederick Douglass Global Fellows. And I want to thank Kristen Leary for her friendship and her tireless advocacy on behalf of FDFI. And a very special thank you to all my Douglass cousins and extended family who are here today. Will you all please stand? Thank you. And finally, I want to thank all of you for being here today. As I travel around the world, one of the most common questions I'm asked is, what would Frederick Douglass do if he were here today? It's a question I often dwell on, and it's not easy to speculate what one of the greatest freedom fighters of his time might say about the state of the nation and world today. But as his descendant, speaking on the day of the bridge ceremony, I'm obliged to offer a few ideas. Frederick Douglass was a punctual man, and he appreciated that quality in others, so I think he would heartily commend the engineers and workers for their industry and share his own great satisfaction that the bridge that bears his name was finished ahead of time. He also appreciated the virtues and benefits of physical exercise and was often found walking the grounds of his home and neighborhood of Cedar Hill, just beyond us on the southeast side of the river. So I think that he would voice a hearty approval of the bridge's unique accommodation for pedestrians and cyclists and its design providing opportunities for reflection and contemplation along the way. Frederick and his son, Charles, my great-great-grandfather, shared a special bond over their enjoyment of baseball that began here in D.C. In fact, when Charles became the president of the Negro League Washington Mutual's baseball club, they made Frederick an honorary member of the team in 1870. So I would not be surprised if my great ancestor told us today that he's looking forward to venturing out of his study at Cedar Hill early, a few days next summer, to walk across the bridge to catch an afternoon game at Nationals Park, just like my mother and my cousins and I did yesterday. Thank you, Mayor Bowser, for the sweet seats. The Nationals made our day by winning in the bottom of the ninth, and I think Frederick Douglass had something to do with that. You know, I'm fond of the eloquent poem by the first African-American U.S. poet laureate, Robert Hayden, aptly named Frederick Douglass, because it poses a question of the right and proper way to honor his legacy. This man, superb in love and logic, this man shall be remembered, oh, not with statues' rhetoric, not with legends and poems and wreaths of bronze alone, but with the lives grown out of his life, the lives fleshing his dream of the beautiful, needful thing. These lines resonate because I think my great-great-great-grandfather would take personal pride to be commemorated in such an honorable and spectacular way as in this bridge we're standing on. Yet the poem is also a reminder that monuments and words of remembrance alone, while pleasant, are almost an inadequate way of honoring his legacy. It is the lives grown out of his life and the lives fleshing his dream of freedom, not just by me and all of his direct descendants here today, but all of you joining us and the new generation of leaders inspired by his words and carrying on his mantle and the fight for justice, liberty, and equality. That is the ultimate commemoration and tribute to Frederick Douglass. Today, we see forces still on the march that want to diminish voices they disagree with and abridge hard-fought rights. There are still those who refuse D.C.'s demand for representation. I have no doubt Frederick Douglass would have an opinion on this matter. And I think if Frederick Douglass were here today, he would close his speech with a forceful and urgent reminder that while this magnificent bridge that bears his name is complete, his mission and struggle for freedom are far from finished. And so I'm honored to introduce D.C. Mayor Bowser, someone who lives that mission and who joins that struggle every day, particularly the fight for recognition and representation. Mayor Bowser was born and raised in D.C., and so she knows how powerful this bridge is as a symbol and a message of providing tangible connection between this part of the city to Capitol Hill and beyond. She has long fought for D.C. statehood, and thanks to her and many others, that's closer than ever to realization. Thank you, Mayor, for your continued and relentless commitment to giving every Washingtonian a fair shot. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mayor Muriel Bowser to the stage.
Well, good morning, everybody. Let's give a hand to Mr. Morris, Frederick Douglass's great great-grandson, and I have to say that sounds what I imagine a speech that Frederick Douglass would have given, celebrating a remarkable investment, but also a remarkably beautiful bridge in the nation's capital. I am very pleased to be here with all of you to celebrate a representation and a celebration of Black excellence in our city. Every day, we are proud to celebrate our forefathers, but we are especially proud of Frederick Douglass. And no offense to my friends from Maryland, but we claim him as our son, a son of Washington, D.C. I also want to thank our soloist, Miss Burnett, for a beautiful, beautiful introduction to today's ceremony. Our young people from the Duke Ellington who marched us over the bridge. And of course, Reverend Lamar for just a wonderful blessing, and he gets to carry on the tradition from Frederick Douglass's church in Washington as well. Mr. Ambassador, thank you for joining us from beautiful Ireland, and thank you for your nation's investment in the legacy of Frederick Douglass as well. I also want to thank all of the members of the council who have joined us today. You're going to hear from Congresswoman Norton and Congressman Hoyer how the partnership that we've experienced from a federal and local level, but for us, also many years of district leadership. So I want to acknowledge Council Member Trayon White from Ward 8, who you'll hear from, Council Member Charles Allen from Ward 6, who you will hear from, former Mayor Vincent Gray from Ward 7. Thank you, Council Member Gray, and at-large Council Member Anita Bonds. Thank you so much for all being here and playing a role in getting us to this beautiful day. We, of course, celebrate Frederick Douglass, as you've heard. We are very proud of Cedar Hill, his historic estate in beautiful Anacostia that is just a short walk from here. We also are very proud, thank you, Congresswoman, that Frederick Douglass represents us in the halls of the United States Capitol. We also honor Frederick Douglass with a portrait in downtown district building. And today we celebrate this iconic bridge. And as has already been mentioned, the ultimate tribute to Douglass in Washington will be the name of our state, the 51st state in Douglass Commonwealth. It is fitting then that this bridge literally represents the largest infrastructure project in the history of Washington, D.C. $440 million have gone into creating this bridge. 70,000 vehicles cross the South Capitol Street Bridge, that one, every single day. And this bridge will make those connections for residents of Ward 8 and Ward 6 and for our neighbors who are commuting to jobs in D.C. all the more efficient and safer. We are also know that we have people who commute on bike, on foot, on scooter, in wheelchair, and this bridge makes their travel for recreation and for work safer too. It's going to be an entirely different experience, and as Congresswoman Norton likes to say, we no longer say the South Capitol Street Bridge. This is the Frederick Douglass Memorial Bridge. We are also reminded that it does indeed take a village to have this type of success. I learned early on when I was mayor, there were a lot of things to unstick, unravel, and to get going. And thanks to our Congress people here, the money was there, and we had to work locally and federally to make sure things happen. So I want to thank Chris Lawson from USDOT, who worked with my team at DDOT. I see our former director, Jeff Marudian, our current director, Everett Lott, and also Leif Dormsjo couldn't be here. But what they did, and I won't bore you with the procurement stuff, but that's what it takes, the procurement stuff, and so much more to make things happen. So thank you, Chris, for that partnership. I think we'll have some more work to do together as well. And you will remember when we broke ground on this project back in 2017 that Congresswoman Norton and Congressman Hoyer talked about their strategy. And it's so important that we have smart people representing us who know their way around the building, who are in leadership of committees and leadership of the caucus to help us get things done. So Steny and Eleanor, we really can't thank you enough for making sure that we got the funds we needed to get this bridge done. So give them another big round of applause. The last thing I want to say is when Secretary Buttigieg was with us just a little bit ago, we talked about the concerted effort that we made in local hiring for this bridge, which we think should be a model for the whole country. We know that 200 D.C. residents were hired to build this bridge. 45 minority and women-owned businesses were part of the project, and the work of these businesses represented $91 million in contracting opportunities. And that is, we know, something Frederick Douglass would be proud of. Finally, I'll say for us, the symbolism of this bridge, not just its beautiful arches, but the connection between the Great Ward 8 and the Great Ward 6 really says something about our city and where we are in our city and the future of our city. So it is so important that no matter where we live, no matter what ward, what neighborhood, what background, how long you've been here, that we come together and we put bridges over challenges, bridges over things that have separated us in the past, and we form alliances to get things done for this great city of Washington. What this bridge represents in so many ways, from contracting to better transportation to more sustainability, is the fair shot that we envision. Thank you all for being here, and let's get on with our program by hearing from one of our champions on the Hill, who can give you the very tortured history of how we got the funding together to get here. Our Congresswoman, Eleanor Holmes Norton.
Thank you very much, Mayor Muriel Bowser. My good friend, Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, members of the D.C. Council, Ambassador Ludlow from Ireland, Reverend Lamar, Kenneth Morris, Frederick Douglass's great-great-grandson, the Douglass family, and particularly all of you, especially Washingtonians, who have come to what for us is an important ceremony. And I want to tell you a little bit about this bridge, because it's more than a ceremony as far as I'm concerned. In a real sense, it is hard to overestimate the importance of the Frederick Douglass Memorial Bridge. I think of it as a workhorse bridge. It holds our city together, and it is a gateway to the D.C. economy. This bridge, this crossing is so vital that you see the South Capitol Street Bridge there. I had to get money to repair it. While this bridge was going up, because we can't do without this particular crossing. It connects, after all, important parts of our city, wards 7 and 8, to the rest of the city, not to mention visitors and commuters. There's no bridge, I think, anywhere that does as much as the South Capitol Street Bridge. I do want to say the importance to commuters and to our entire region is indicated by the presence of our majority leader, our good friend, Steny Hoyer, who you will hear from next. This is not only regarded as the most important bridge in the nation's capital, I'm here to tell you it was the most costly. Most of the funding came through Congress from the federal government. I was fortunate to be able to use my role as House Subcommittee Chair of Highways and Infrastructure to get the funding in the House. But that was no easy job. It wasn't the case of here's an appropriation, here's the money. We had to accumulate the funding for this bridge over a period of 10 years. The strategy I used was one I have never used before. I had to squirrel funds year by year, more than 10 years, to accumulate the funding till the final funding came out. You've seen what the cost is. But the Frederick Douglass Bridge is important for yet another reason. It is the gateway leading to two major projects I have brought to the district: the wharf and on the southwest waterfront, and the Capitol Riverfront on the southeast waterfront. So the Frederick Douglass opening today couldn't come at a better time. In the Congress, we have just finished celebrating his bicentennial birthday, and I was able to get a statue, and we are the only city, soon to be a state, with a statue in the city, in the Congress, a statue representing Frederick Douglass as representing the District of Columbia as well. He should. Now it is my great pleasure to introduce not only one of my best friends in the Congress, but one of the best friends of the district, the man who helped me get the funding I've just described, Majority Leader Steny Hoyer.
My name is Steny Hoyer. I am Eleanor Holmes Norton Helper, a title of which I am very, very proud. Governor Bowser, State Senators Charles Allen and White, thank you for your work. The Frederick Douglass family. I've been honored greatly to have representatives and our leader of the Douglass family, the great, and Frederick Douglass would have said after he heard that speech, he's not great because he's a long number of decennials. He's great, descendants, but he's great because he's great. You are a great-grandson. Ambassador Mulhall, thank you for being here to honor Frederick Douglass, who was so honored to be welcomed in Ireland. so many years ago. Reverend Lamar, I thought your prayer was an excellent history and an excellent prayer. Ken, I enjoyed your visit, and as I've told you, I have all Marylanders save one pictured in my conference room. Now, notwithstanding what Governor Bowser is trying to appropriate to the District of Columbia, he was born in Maryland, in Talbot County, born a slave, born essentially what was perceived as a chattel to be sold and bartered away. He would say, we've come a long way. And one of the reasons we've come a long way was Frederick Douglass was one of the great leaders in that road that we traveled. And I think that if he were here, he would have said, we're still facing the rising sun of a new day begun, and urge us to march on till victory's won. Victory has not been won, but this bridge is a symbol of progress. I call Metro the ties that bind our region together. And this is a bridge that ties us together. Yes, it ties us to the 6th District and the 8th Ward and the 7th, tangentially. But it ties Frederick Douglass's state of birth with his state of choice. And so lest you believe that I just did this out of the goodness of my heart because I love Eleanor Holmes Norton, that fact is true. But I want to tell you, I'm a politician. And I have about 50,000 constituents who come over that bridge every day. So, Kenneth, I wanted to take care of them, and I want all of you to say, yes, Hoyer played a role, and he was thinking of all of you over there, making sure you came safely and quickly to the District of Columbia to spend your money, which the governor urged me to make sure is happening. I want to mention somebody else who's not here. But Eleanor played a critical role, I know, with me, and I know with you. His name is Anthony. His last name is Williams. He was the mayor from 1999 to 2007. Eleanor and I got most of that money during that period of time. Not all of it, but most of that money during that period of time. We started small with a $400,000 or $500,000, then some millions of dollars to do planning and getting ready. You were talking about how much had to be done in acquisition. And the Congress knew it was its responsibility to make sure that that bridge, which is an aging bridge built in 1950, the first time I crossed it, by the way, was 1955. That's amazing in light of the fact I'm 50 years of age. Why are you laughing at that? This is a joint project of the leaders of the District of Columbia, Mayor Anthony Jones, and the subsequent mayors like Mayor Gray, who were focused on making sure that the city was united. Not only virtually, but physically. And that's what this bridge says to all of us. It is a work of art. Many, many years ago, Ellen and I had the opportunity to see some of the alternatives that could have been built here. And I think what has been built here is a work of beauty. And as you look at that, you soar in that archway to the state of Douglas Commonwealth. I have a rest of a speech here I'm not going to give, but I was honored to participate with Eleanor Holmes Norton. I want all of you to understand as well that Eleanor Holmes Norton does not have a vote in the Congress of the United States and got this done anyway. You think of that. Eleanor Holmes Norton is a force of nature on behalf of the state of Douglas Commonwealth, who, by the way, mother was extraordinarily prescient, as the Reverend said, because one of his four names was Washington. So it was not by mistake that he moved here. It was by choice. Yes, he knew the federal government was here, and yes, he played a critical role in the Emancipation Proclamation, as we all know, but in so many other steps towards freedom. As he faced his rising sun, knowing that victory had not been won, but he, as John Lewis, the only non-Marylander who has a picture, a portrait in my conference room, who was my dear, dear friend, Frederick Douglass and John Lewis, kept their eye on the prize. And that eye of all of you still needs to be on the prize. God love you. Thank you.
Another round of applause for Steny Hoyer. Now we're going to have our final speakers join us, but I want to thank the members of the council who have been so incredibly supportive of our infrastructure projects, big ones like this one, but also streets, alleys, bike lanes, street lights, all of the things that help Washington, D.C. tick. And they have the privilege of representing the great communities on each side of this bridge. So first, let me welcome the Ward 8 Council Member, Trayon White.
Good morning. Isn't this bridge beautiful? Yesterday we did our 5K walk. Mayor Muriel Bowser, I probably did 0.5, so I'm not going to lie. They said, Mr. White, did you run across the bridge? I said, at what point? But it's a beautiful day for our city. I want to thank our fearless leader in City Hall, on Congress, our Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes. Give her a round of applause for her leadership and fighting for so long. Not just for equality, but for equity for our residents in D.C. Majority Leader Steny Hoyer for his leadership, and our colleague Mayor Muriel Bowser, and my colleagues Councilman Vincent Orange, Councilman Charles Allen, Councilman Nita Bonds, and our other colleagues who may not be here today. We know that Frederick Douglass was born in Maryland, but as children you don't get to choose where you grow up at, right? But he chose to come here and stay here in Washington, D.C. And we officially claim him, as Wanda Lockridge would say, as a Ward 8 Etonian. As he passed in his last days right here in Ward 8, right here in Washington, D.C. Frederick Douglass fought not only for his people, but for groups of people that didn't have the opportunities, that were alienated right here in what we call the United States. He was the first black person at Seneca Falls Convention, the country's first women's rights convention in 1848. Now, they tried to give him an opportunity to vote, and he told them simply, if the women can't vote, then I can't accept this vote. And that's the heart and legacy of the legendary Frederick Douglass. In the spirit of Marionberry, when this project was going on prior to me coming to office, I came in and I kept asking, I believe, David Paschal, send me the numbers, because I want to know how many residents we have from D.C. working on this project. And she sent me the numbers. I mean, one day I wasn't happy for some reason. I went down to Congress and we raised a little hell. And then I got the report back now that we have 45 contractors from D.C. and 200 workers from D.C. working on this project. And that's simply something to celebrate. What makes this more fitting is that this bridge connects wards 6 and 8. And Frederick Douglass was indeed a connector. We also are home to the Frederick Douglass House located in Ward 8 in the Cedar community. Today, with the renovations of this beautiful project, we want to ensure that we continue to fight, as Frederick Douglass said, the struggle continues. For those residents of D.C., particularly black residents of D.C., who feel like this is not their D.C. anymore. And more importantly, for our children. When we hear the students from Duke Ellington, I always wonder, what about the children? And Frederick Douglass said, I'm going to paraphrase this, he said, it's easier to build strong females and males, boys and girls, than it is repair broken men and women. So as we build these bridges, we must also remember that we also got to build the people up in Washington, D.C. So as the city thrives, that the people of Washington, D.C. thrives as well. And I want to thank our mayor, Muriel Bowser, for her leadership, because she don't get all the credit that she deserves. Because a lot of great things happened in D.C. was a result of our former council member, but now Mayor Muriel Bowser. So I want to thank you for having us. I would like to also, you can give her a round of applause for that. Now, Councilmember Allen, I don't know if I'm in Ward 8 or Ward 6 right now. You're in 6. Rock, paper, scissors. We're going to figure it out. But next, I would like to hear from one of our colleagues, Ward 6 Representative, Councilmember Charles Allen. Put your hands together.
I think the middle is dividing line between 6 and 8. So if I lean forward, I'm in 6 right now. Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming out. I know it's sunny and hot, so I will try to be somewhat brief here. But a lot of thank yous are due to a lot of people. The dynamic duo in Congress. We were with them together when we broke ground. They have seen this project all the way through. Leader Hoyer and our warrior on the Hill, Eleanor Holmes Norton, thank you both so much for making this happen. You heard earlier that this has spanned, I think, at least 3 DDOT directors, maybe more, I'm not sure. And we have Jeff Rudy in here and Everett Lye here, but there's been one mayor who has seen it all and who helped lead the way to make sure we got this done, to get this done right, and to get it done early. So Mayor Bowser, congratulations, and thank you for your leadership and hard work on this. Now, I represent Ward 6, which is that side, and my good friend Trayon White represents Ward 8 right here. And in the metaphor, in the lexicon and metaphor world, rivers divide and bridges unite. Now, I'll say I think this is a little bit different here. This bridge, with its, thank you, amazing spans, it is iconic. It is absolutely iconic and beautiful. And I can see this, great cities have great bridges. They just do. When you look at other cities, you know them by their bridges. And no disrespect to that piece of concrete over there, but this is an iconic bridge. This will be a bridge you see and national audiences will see on TV constantly. They'll do the shot of the dome, absolutely first. Then they're going to cut to this. And what I'm excited about is that it will not just be the picture, but they will say, here is the Frederick Douglass Memorial Bridge. They will use his name. And we will invoke our great Anacostia River, the great bridge that spans the two, and I think it will be truly inspiring as we all work toward and we recognize and then we ultimately realize the Douglass Commonwealth and D.C. statehood. And this bridge will play a role in that. So to my fellow state senators, Vince Gray, Anita Bonds, and Trayon White, thank you very much. And then also to the men and women wearing the hard hats and the vests, thank you for your incredible hard work on this. You have done something that I truly believe, and I hope you will be visiting this space. You will be walking across it, driving across it, even biking across it, and you're going to tell your kids and your grandkids and your great-grandkids, I helped build that. And we're really grateful, and we appreciate it. So congratulations, everyone. Mayor Bowser, again, a hearty congratulations, and thank you all very much.
Thank you. All right, Everett Lott, you are the final speaker in the ribbon cutting, and I want to thank the council members again. And Everett is the DDOT director, and he represents a fantastic team of engineers and planners and communicators and procurement specialists who have worked just tirelessly, certainly over the last several years, to make sure that the vision that started so many years ago is delivered early, and we're happy about that. I too, Charles, want to recognize all of the workers. Yesterday we celebrated Labor Day, and it is fitting that we celebrate it with people who put their heart and souls, blood, sweat, and tears into this project. Give them another big round of applause. So join me in welcoming Director Lott.
Good morning, everyone. Congratulations, Mayor. Congratulations, Congresswoman Norton. Congratulations, Congressman Hoyer. To all the DDOT family, the DDOT contractors, the DDOT team, congratulations, and congratulations, Washington, D.C. This is a beautiful bridge. So I just want to say thank y'all to everyone, because it has been a joint partnership from everybody. So thank y'all very much. My name is Everett Lott, and I am the Acting Director of the District Department of Transportation, a title that I'm very proud to hold today as we celebrate this special occasion. As Mayor Bowser said, today's celebration is the result of a lot of hard work, a lot of collaboration, a lot of commitment to building an infrastructure that is fitting for a world-class city like Washington, D.C. This bridge is an iconic tribute to Frederick Douglass that I know will be enjoyed by residents for decades to come. So later this week, we will open the bridge for public use. We will have 6 lanes of car traffic and 2 18-foot wide pedestrian and bike lanes that this bridge will be showing to be an important connector between 2 thriving communities, but also a destination from across the city. I want to acknowledge a few people who have worked very hard on this project. And first and foremost, I want to acknowledge the DDOT team, and that's the DDOT family, the DDOT contractors, the DDOT staff. So if you can please wave your hands wherever you are, let people know who you are. The DDOT team, the project team, was led by Dennis Howland and Joe Dorsey, right over there. Great job. Our chief engineer, who's not here today, Dawit Mulnya, and our chief project delivery officer, Ellen Jones. They've done a fantastic job, so I really want to thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. Great job. Great job. I also have to acknowledge our partners, the South Capitol Street Bridge builders, H&TB, John Whitney, Navin Jain, and the entire team who have worked to build this project and this bridge that connects the shores of Anacostia. We've heard a few about acquisitions and contracting, so I must acknowledge George Shutter, Bill Sharp, and the entire Office of Contracting and Procurement team. Thank y'all very much. And lastly, but certainly not least, I want to echo Mayor Bowser's thanks to our federal partners, to Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton, to Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, to the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Federal Highway Administration for their unwavering support for this project. Thank you, Chris Lawson. And to all of that, this is why this project is here. So thank y'all very much. And in the coming months, you will see a lot of work for this particular corridor. Soon we will be deconstructing that bridge over there, the old bridge, while we continue to build the traffic ovals on both the west side and the east side of this new Frederick Douglass Memorial Bridge. Those features will improve safety and accessibility for this corridor. And I can't wait to welcome all of you back in the spring when we finish this project and officially dedicate the bridge in Frederick Douglass's honor. So thank you again for being here today, and I want to turn this back over to Mayor Muriel Bowser. Thank you. And now we're going to cut the ribbon, so if I can invite you all to come up, that would be fantastic.